What you are about to hear is part of the Podgods Network. If you have a problem with anything you hear, please write it in an email and go fuck yourself. Enjoy the show.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
Salty Language presents The Enthusiast.
Welcome, enthusiasts. This is episode number 9, Brian?
Yes, it is.
God damn. This time we're joined by Poplock Holmes, Chap Hop extraordinaire, airship captain, Yeti hunter. Anything else I add in there?
Thank you for having me. Purveyor of smiles. I am the smile whisperer. If you don't have a smile on your face, I will lure it out of you and make sure it's plastered across you. Anyways, I digress.
Nice. I forgot what I was going to say. Wow, this is just starting off on a home run here.
It's pretty standard for us.
Yeah. Ooh. Man.
Oh, we did want to ask you. Now, you're really much into like steampunk genre, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you still call it chap hop, or is it like steam hop? Or
No, chap hop is definitely the genre, and at this point, I am the only person on the West Coast. We're about to have a West Coast versus East Coast turf war for the chap hop pioneers, as it were. But I have been the only one in the Americas for a little bit of time, and now Sir Reginald Pictavant Esquire has decided to crawl out from under a rock. He had one song that has like 800,000 hits or something like that, called just some glue some gears on it, called Steampunk. And so him and I are the only ones in the Americas doing it. Of course, you've got Professor Elemental and Mr. B over across the pond. And, we're going to have a good old-fashioned turf war for who's the chappest of them all.
Well, fair enough. I mean, load up your blunderbusses and all that.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just hope this doesn't go the way of Biggie and Tupac. Like, we don't want any of that. Like, we need to be civil about it.
Yes, and hopefully, since we are chaps, we're not insulting each other. Like we're all complimenting each other. They're so much better than me. Oh, he's so much better than him, and everything's so grand that if anything, it's just going to inflate us bigger and bigger. So that will be the only similarity between Biggie and Tupac is we will get Biggie-fied through the process of it. We will therefore be embiggened, so to speak.
Ah, nice. I'm a big fan of the word embiggened.
It's a strong word. Yeah, I saw a post on your Facebook with Sir Reginald and you facing off there.
Well, yes, we did have a chap off, actually, that is yet to get released to the interwebs, but you can see it at our live shows where it's about my airship, which, of course, my airship is larger than his airship. And, well, he claims his airship can go longer than mine and what have you. And, well, so what do you really want? Do you want your airship to be bigger? Do you want it to go longer? It's not the size of the airship. That's what I'm deducing. So, I don't know. It's been a fun little riff on, as you can probably guess, anyways, buried in that, therefore, name. Try to keep it PG, as it were, but it's definitely something for the adults right alongside the kiddies. You see them look down and go, oh, my word, he just said that, and the children have no idea.
That's the best kind of stuff right there.
It really is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
That's what inspired all of us. That's what got us here. That's what made us fly over the cuckoo's nest to begin with. So thank Jim Henson. Thank a lot of those pioneers. Pee Wee, of course. Pee Wee Herman.
Right.
Aardman. Anyways.
I kind of want to see a steampunk Pee Wee.
Right? Why has no one done that yet?
The whole house. You're meaning like the whole house and everything, right? Like
the
whole playhouse, all
even
steampunked
better.
out. That would be insane. Yeah.
Cowboy Curtis, the whole thing.
Oh man, yeah. I want Lawrence Fishburne to reprise the role, though. I won't accept anyone else.
No.
Okay.
There you go.
Just making
Absolutely
sure.
not.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe guest cameo by Yul Brynner. A little Westworld tie-in.
Yes.
Even better. So you were the first American chap hopper then?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I would say some people call it chap hopper, some people call it chapper. I prefer chap hop. I prefer chap hop MC myself. I prefer the eloquence and the long one. There is no short enunciation. There's no short abbreviated version of it. It's a chap hop MC. Say it proper, good sir.
My apologies.
So yes, I would be the first to lay the colonies as my own. And of course, Professor Elemental and Mr. B have both come over here a few times, and we've gone fisticuffs. Of course, me and Professor Elemental have been on stage together. Little known fact, I was very inebriated when him and I had our rap battle. I'm very lucky any of those words rhymed whatsoever. I'm sorry to everyone who was there. Mr. B, being the true gentleman that he was, stood in the back of the audience and watched my entire set and was the first one to tell me what a great show it was, so he's a true chap himself. But I still call them out and say, hey, let's have a good old-fashioned who's the best of us all.
Well, I mean, we all know how the Revolutionary War ended out, so I'm just saying.
Right.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Oh, be careful there. Too soon.
Right. Like, do people, so you're just going to have people chant out, like, colonies instead of USA, right? Because we're throwing it back to that time?
Exactly. Which I'm trying. Everyone's got their own story in this, and luckily they all work together. There is no right or wrong, but there are a few things that we can keep true from our historical facts. One is that yes, it was the colonies, it yet to become America, and in our alternate history or in our dystopian future, it will still be the colonies because we'll all be a colony, and et cetera, et cetera.
Nice.
Yeah, right on. Now, how did you get into the whole steampunk angle? Because I mean, I knew about steampunk, but I didn't realize how big the world was. There's so many people that are into it.
Tony still sees the world as flat, so
it's true.
He doesn't buy into this new age thinking of that it's round and such.
There's a moon that we go travel with, and it goes around us, and all this revolutionary science. And science is the thing I love about steampunk the most, because the science is true. Like, it's all rooted on real science, Tesla and things that got us to this point, steam powered technology, so as it were. But what got me into steampunk initially was, I guess as a kid growing up on Terry Gilliam films, was the first kind of implantation of like old and science and technology, and somehow it's futuristic, but it's 100 years old. And I was doing a television pilot in 2001, which you could find, called Ahoy Captain Sid. And I wanted to do old technology with this submersive ship. There'd be a submarine. And the artists were like, well, that's steampunk. I said, okay, so that's what it's called, but I want to see it. That's fine. Build me the submarine. And so we did the show, and this was 2001 as I get the word steampunk in my head. And so I see over the years, I see different things. I have Steampunk, Wild Wild West, and Will Smith came out, God forbid. Those are little things over the time. Back to the Future 2 had little moments, and like the Hollywood really gave birth to this aesthetic turned into a subculture. And it was still at this point, up until around 2007, 2008, still just that, an aesthetic. And now for me, myself, 2008 or 2007, I can't remember which, it was Comic-Con, and I'm walking around and I see about a dozen people in steampunk garbs. And I see like the Victorian Ghostbusters, or I'm like, wow, there's some steampunks. Like, these are actual steampunks. And right away, like, my brain just connected. And mind you, I wasn't aware that this is how it had happened, but I was acutely aware of the cyberpunk movement and these things that happened in the 80s. I went, wow, this is going to be a thing. And the next year got a little bit bigger. The next year, like, League of Steam showed up on the scene, and they're now representing really well. And people are now, there's fans, and there's this thing. And then 2011, I decided to do a song. Like, all of a sudden, I'm seeing there's steampunk music, and the Professor Elemental. Wow, like, there's something. I'm Poplock Holmes, and I don't need Watson. And the song just kind of fell out of my mouth. And I recorded it and put it up on the interwebs and forgot about it. And then, like, a year later, 2012, I see that, wow, there's a scene for this, and there's people that are out here doing this. There's people that are actually gathering, kind of like the Renaissance Fair or like any other convention. And so I reach out to a few of them, and lo and behold, I get booked in early 2013. And when I get booked, it was like January, February, and the show was March, and I had one song. So now I'm booked, and I have one show coming up that I have a very limited amount of time to have to write, record, and learn to perform while developing my character shtick and getting my costume together and setting up some kind of performance art, because you can't just show up on the steampunk scene with a microphone and expect to make any kind of impact. I try to have my steampunk Victorian style boombox with an old speaker and my old custom microphone and try to have an image that was there. And that's been the ride. So 2013 was when I became part of the steampunk community. Steampunk as an aesthetic had been in my world already for a good dozen years.
Okay.
So I'm guessing that first show went off pretty well, huh?
It was fun. The first show, it was very interesting. The first show I did was called busking. So I was street performing. And so it was at Wild Wild West Con in Tucson. And it's a kind of like a Renaissance fair, but it's inside an Old West town. It's actually the town that they filmed Three Amigos in, and they filmed a lot of Old West movies. So it's this really immersive environment. And so I get set up on this one corner near a hotel, a little fake hotel, whatever, Hotel Del Toro. And I've got my little setup, and I decide what time during the day I'm going to do my 3 or 4 performances. And I made a splash, like some people recorded it, some people bought my CDs and got booked to a couple more shows and was welcomed back the following year. And over that year, from 2013 to 2014, wrote a full album, brought in a DJ, built a 7-foot Yeti to do the Monster Hunters video with, and just created the act. And it's still a work in progress. I now have both a DJ and a shovel player, my lead shoveler. And I've actually turned an old shovel into like a slide guitar that my lead guitar player comes in and plays.
Nice.
So I've got a few different acts, and I've got a multimedia facet with video that's behind me that's completely immersive, depending on if I'm at night. And our next show at Calico with Frenchie the Punk, I'm hoping that there'll be room to set up my projection screen and give the audience out there a little taste of the full multimedia package. So the first show to go off with a bang, it went off with a pew-pew. And slowly been climbing, and the shows lately have been going off with a bang, and they're getting better every time.
Would you say you're building up steam?
Oh,
you have to say it. I mean, it's such a great metaphor. I mean, yes.
I kind of felt dirty about that one.
The movement itself, luckily I'm so new to the scene. It's such a new scene. I'm already grandfathered in. I'm in some print publications as part of steampunk music, and the steampunk community now is getting brought into. Knott's Berry Farm is doing a big steampunk roller coaster, and Disney's doing a steampunk movie, and Disney's doing a steampunk short come out next year. So you're going to see steampunk get a lot more steam, no pun intended, and I'll be able to gain some momentum, hopefully right along with that. Ride the coattails of the movement that I'm part of. Helping it grow and growing with it at the same time.
Interesting. Yeah.
Nice.
Huh.
Yeah.
So
that's very cool.
So you're I know I can't remember, and I feel bad about this. I can't remember. I believe it was Professor Elemental when we had him on here. Said that he kind of liked how steampunk was still kind of this smaller movement, because it kind of felt like you were part of something, before it ballooned, basically.
It's like that feeling, you go to a party and you get there late, and you get to a party at 11 o'clock, then you're just part of the masses, right? And maybe you're enjoying the music, whatever. But if you get there early before the music's loud, you get to know a few people and you make some relationships. And it's kind of that same thing, the people that are in the scene now, the people that would be my quote unquote fans, if it was a regular music world, the people who are my fans are my friends. They're people that I talk to outside of the world, and I can't wait to see them when we get there and share a drink with them. So it's definitely a super, super small insider world that, it's the people that are aware of Poplock Holmes are already in the world. I'm definitely not the gateway to the steampunk community. Uh-huh. You have to already be in the steampunk community, and then you'll find out who I am. And hopefully there'll be a flip at some point that people will go, oh, this Poplock Holmes, what steampunk? What is this? And that's just now happened at the last 2 events I did, the one in Paris, the Iron Horse Carnival, Paris, California, and the most recent Wild Wild West in Tucson. You have a lot of crossover finally happening. We have people who have never heard of steampunk, never heard of the music, and they hear the music or they see an act and what is this? I want to be part of this. I love this.
Right. I don't. That's essentially how Tony and I stumbled into it. It was a friend of ours played some steam or Chap hop for us, and we were just we both knew of steampunk because we're geeks, so we've kind of that stuff's been on the radar from being at Comic Cons and stuff. Where like you said, you'd see an occasional person or a small group, in costumes and such, and it was all the first time I saw it, I was like, what is that? And I looked it up a little online. I was like, oh, okay, this is actually a thing. And the music, it was it was through reference from somebody else that we stumbled into it and just enjoyed it because it's such a fun genre of music. It's not. It's almost like it takes itself very seriously, yet doesn't at the same time. It's kind of interesting to me.
There's so many different flavors of it. Abbey Park has been around for a while. They've got the really great dystopian future. I've got a really great musical partner. I work with Unwoman, who she plays cello through a loop. It's just cello and voice and has really haunting. We kind of joke that she's the tragedy and I'm the comedy part of entertainment. The two of us together give you everything you could possibly need, There's very vaudevillian in that sense that every act is completely different. It isn't unifying in the sense punk rock is punk rock and be playing 4 chords. No, steampunk means, oh great, what are we going to hear? The most recent band on the scene that's got my attention that I'm actually doing some collaboration with is the Velveteen Band. And they have the Baron von Velveteen, who actually wears a rabbit head while he plays guitar, and he sings, and they have two puppets as their singers, Foe and Fum, and he plays the trumpet through his rabbit head mouthpiece. And they're a lot of fun. So they bring a lot of theatrics to it, and you have a lot of Steam Powered Giraffes is one that's really owning the moment for really having that theatrical component down, where you could turn off the music and it's still entertainment.
Oh, okay.
You know,
right.
So it's definitely it's so wide open to everything, and with the exception of Chap Hop, you know, there's not really a lot of unifying factors with the steampunk music, except maybe like some old-fashioned instruments or something. And then the Chap Hop, like if you look at me and Professor Elemental and Professor Reginald Plankton Esquire, you know, Mr. B, the four of us, we're so drastically different. You know, Mr. B with his ukulele, his banjolele, Professor Elemental with the beats that he's got, you know, my style, kind of over the top. You know, it's like it's definitely even though we're Chap Hop, we're all night and day.
Yeah, very much so. That's one of the things I've really enjoyed about it. You know, is that even with talking with the three of you guys now, is that you can tell you're different people, but you have a lot of similarities as far as kind of what drew you to this music and this crowd and such. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Yeah,
you know, I know Mr. B and Professor Elemental I all share a love of 80s hip hop.
Yeah,
you know, that's so Reginald, I don't know if he's as much versed because he plays organ and he comes into it more from the gentleman side. You know, Mr. B kind of is a hybrid with his banjolele and the hip hop beats, but we all really respect that old 1980s, you know, mid 1985, 1986 hip hop. You know, I grew up on that stuff, so It's really fun to have, you know, all the mashups. I was just joking with some friends recently. It's like I was realizing that in third grade, I built my own Ghostbusters costume. And that was around 1984, 1985. And in 1985, I took a breakdancing class like the local park and rec. So hip-hop and Ghostbusters were already forming their alliance way back then. And now Steampunk has the same cryptozoological capture. You know, it's kind of funny to see what I started in my creativity at one point. Now here they are, come out the other end as one thing.
Right, yeah.
Now, speaking of the 80s hip-hop, your album name is fantastic. By the way,
thank you.
Run DM Steam. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I just released a new one. So that is my garage demo, so to speak. Run DM Steam.
Okay, all right.
And so that was the beginning that was me learning how to record. And so now I've remastered all those songs with new lyrics, and it's the Grand Adventures of Poplock Holmes. And I've done away with a couple songs off the first album, replaced them with a couple new ones, and I've just started ground on the next album. But yes, I try to really the puns there. Like not everyone catches the Run DMC reference there. You know, the Run DM Steam is like, you know, that's again the vaudevillian and the puns. Like that's kind of the essence of steampunk. Is it's cheesy, it's humorous, it's not taking itself too seriously.
Right, and I think that's where I was drawn to it, because I am not ashamed to admit that I love puns, and I know they're looked at as, you know, like the weakest end of comedy and such, but I really don't care. I love a good pun. So when I saw your album name, you know, first of all, I get it because, you know, I'm from the right time especially, but, you know, seeing that, and I just cracked up. And that's what I love in the lyrics of a lot of the songs is, you know, in the Chap Hop stuff is there's so much really witty stuff that's built into them. And sometimes you almost have to listen a couple times because you miss them the first time.
I guarantee you there's parts in my album. I talk to people who've heard my songs for a year now, and they'll talk about one moment like, oh, I never caught that. You know, I put a lot of layers, and I tried this last version when I did it, I snuck in even more layers. Like there's one moment in a song where I do a Star Wars reference, and if you listen really carefully, you can hear the dun, 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 dun. Just really briefly, one phrase in the background. If you're an uber geek, you'll catch it, nice. But if you're not, it's gone that quickly.
Oh, that's great, because it was like, you know, I'm an art major, so when I was in a lot of, like, art classes and stuff, you know, you're taught to look at different pieces of artwork that basically reward your eyes for spending more time looking at the piece, you know, that you see the layers and you see the work and the depth and how things were thought out. So I think it's kind of the same thing in music. I love, like, unlocking those puzzles, I guess, you know, if you want to call it that or whatever. So
I like to think of it as leaving Easter eggs. I've got a lot of Easter eggs in my songs.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
No.
Everyone loves an Easter egg.
Right.
So what's besides your new album you're working on? What else is next for you?
Well, actually, we're working on I hesitate to call it a a web series or a TV pilot, but I've shot now a lot of footage of me at these shows, interacting with some fans, kind of the behind the scenes of a steampunk musician, steampunk artist going to these events and the crossover between the fans, how there's not really a barrier between myself and the fans. And so I'm assembling that and trying to put that out as kind of a gateway that hopefully people go, what is steampunk? So they can watch this and they'll go, oh, this is steampunk? Oh, Poplock Holmes is steampunk? Because, of course, Poplock Holmes is where everything steampunk points when I'm doing a web series about it. Right. So it's going to be a self-promotion tool, but it's also got all of the local players and everyone I interact with, everyone from Southern California that has something to say or be heard on this has got incorporated to some degree. I'm always trying to work on the next music video. I just shot my most recent one about a month ago, The Pound of the Baskervilles. Unwoman and I collaborated on a couple music videos. We're going to be doing another one soon. There's another band, DEVM, that we're talking about collaborating on a music video and maybe having me do some lyrics on one of their songs. The Velveteen Band, I'm doing a split EP with them right now. We're going to do 5 songs that I'll do verses on their music. So this year it's blowing up really, really fast. Like, I played more this year already. Here we are, March 27th. And I played more this year than I played all of last year combined.
Oh, wow.
So I'm hoping that
Nice.
that maintains this pace. And this is the first time I pressed CDs. Like, before this run of CDs that I pressed, I only had them on iTunes. So I finally have official CDs. I made some laser cut wooden pins. I have some merch. So I'm trying to make this to where it can be self-sustaining to a point that, as everyone knows, every artist knows, to cross over from it being a labor of love to actually being a hobby, jobby, to being a job, to being something that's self-sustaining. It's a really hard journey. And so this is honestly the longest of any of my creative endeavors I stuck with. I made a feature film that's out that you can see on Amazon called What Luck. I have a development deal with Universal for a kid show. I'm in a lot of places, but this Poplock Holmes is the single longest time that I spent on one project. It's been 3 years that I've been growing it with a little bit of thought and effort put into it every day. So it's finally starting to pay off, and hopefully this year it's a lot more activity, and hopefully I cross over out off the West Coast, because I've been exclusively a West Coast phenomenon for the most part. I haven't played past Arizona, haven't played past Oregon. I would also love to see it outside of the steampunk communities. I'd love to see it get into like the horror and the monster conventions and everything that has to do with cryptozoological creatures, everything that has to do with science fiction, the filk community. I also do my songs with acoustic guitar, right? So there's a lot of ways to just continue to open up and spread the word. And so now it's just about establishing more opportunities to get me in front of an audience and sharing the good gospel of old Poplock Holmes with everyone that I can gather around.
Right. Yeah, and like you're saying, and that's where, like you were saying about, like Disney having a ride and different stuff, or Knott's Berry Farm and such, that brings that into the mainstream of people who normally wouldn't have any idea about this stuff. So, that all hopefully brings more attention to the overall movement. Absolutely.
Hopefully pretty soon when you search steampunk music, I'll be the top hit. Poplock Holmes is steampunk music.
Right.
I'm not quite there yet. There's about 40 other bands ahead of me. Some really, really great bands been doing this for a long time. But there's only one Poplock Holmes. That's poplockholmes.com, #PoplockHolmes on Instagram.
Excellent. Well, self-promotion.
Shameless plugs, what we do.
Damn
Fine.
right, yeah. Yeah. We jokingly called our studio Shameless Plug Studios, so it's,
You fit right in.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. My people! One of us.
Now, have you ever thought about pressing any of your music into vinyl?
I have, and that's definitely something that I would love to do. I feel like, again, this first album is still the garage demo. Like, even the second one that I really spent time remastering and laying down the lyrics on it, I worked with a lot of loops. I'm not doing 100% original music. And as through the journey, I've been doing more original music, and I've been able to really identify my voice. So I'm really looking forward to either working with a producer who can give me original music that hits the caliber that I want to be, or spending the time to do more original music. And when I have that quality, because it'll be a lot more analog instrumentation at that point, that's when I'll want to press it into an album. Also, I have to feel that I'll be able to sell them quick enough, because it's about $1,200 investment to do a couple hundred. I think it's 300 records or something. Okay. And then once you've done that first run, it gets a little cheaper. But right now, I'm still selling my first batch of 100 CDs. I haven't sold out of 100 CDs yet. Okay. Right. So hopefully we'll look back at this in a year and be like, oh, remember Poplock Holmes hadn't even sold 100 CDs yet? Now he's sold like 100 112. Great job.
Gold star.
Yeah.
Or brass, I'm sorry.
Yeah, brass star record. Yeah,
Brass.
they just put the star on the record and hand it back to you. Yeah.
One of the jokes I say at my shows is, there are 3 Chap Hop artists in the world. I am the 3rd most popular one.
Nice. Oh man.
It seems like it's a growing genre of music, though. Are the events you go to, are they pretty packed with people?
Yes, we're still, again, they're in their infancy, but I'd say like the biggest events that I've been to are like 200, 300 people at them. For the most part, my shows, I'm more about the 100-person neighborhood still. But you've got, the thing about it is it's like when people go to Renaissance fairs or even the science fiction conventions, they're going there to escape the regular world and create this character and this persona, and it becomes like the boys club of yore. Like, you hear of like our grandfathers would go down to watch stag movies at the VFW hall or something.
Right.
Well, like nowadays, like, everybody's going out to the Steampunk convention. There's something for everyone. There's the burlesque shows even that are coming into it. So they're not huge. Like the events that I'm at aren't huge. The bigger people in the scene are only drawing 200 or 300 people to their events. There's actually Abney Park just put together a crowdfunding for a tour bus. So there's officially one Steampunk band that has a tour bus. One.
Wow.
Huh. All right.
Now, do you guys all get to share a tour bus?
Yeah.
I'm so hoping that, like, if they're passing through, be like, hey, stop and pick me up. But, they're already going to be packed to the gills. So it's like, strap my cargo container to the roof, maybe, or put my trailer on the back.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yep. What you do is, if their name's down the side of the bus, you just get your trailer with an "and" sign in front of it. So it says "and Poplock Holmes," and you're just in the trailer.
I am stealing that idea. Thank you very much.
Yep.
And as you were saying that, the creative wheels are going. As I just say that, I say, no, I will put a magnet that says "and Poplock
Even
Holmes."
better. Yes. Even better. Yep.
Yeah, that is perfect.
It'd be like an 8-foot magnet.
You just run up and stick it to anybody's trailer
That's
or
true,
bus
yeah.
or anything.
Oh, the gears are turning. No pun intended.
That's what we do on here. We tend to give out ideas to people, and hopefully they'll go get rich off of them and then forget us. So
Yeah.
That's what we all hope, right? Inspire
Yeah.
somebody else's success.
right.
But the more successful people that are out there, at the very least, that's one less drain on our ecosystem, and we're slightly more successful by everybody else's success.
Right.
There you go. Gives us something to aspire to.
Right.
Exactly. You succeeding.
Yeah.
Or me succeeding. You want to aspire to me succeeding, I'm just as fine with that, too.
Yeah, just throw us a few crumbs, we'll be fine.
Right. Yeah.
That's all the biggest crumbs as I can, and pints of rum.
Wow.
Absinthe. The steampunks are drinking absinthe. I would say we're probably the single-handedly the subculture that has brought absinthe back to the States. Not Moulin Rouge, it's the steampunks.
That's
We
probably
drink
true.
absinthe at every event. And last event I was at, thanks to a good old friend Tristan, I drank so much absinthe that my urine smelled like absinthe.
Huh.
That was a feat.
Wow.
All right. Well, now I got to ask. I've never had it. I can buy it here because they've legalized it pretty much everywhere now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What does it even taste like? It's kind of like gin, right?
No, it tastes like black licorice by itself. By
Yeah.
itself, it has 150 proof, right? So it's not drinkable by itself. 160. It's like gnarly shite. Like, it is not friendly at all. But you get these special absinthe sugar cubes that are green sugar cubes that you light.
Right.
And they caramelize, and now you have this molten sugar, and you mix a certain amount of water with the absinthe. So you dilute it some. So it's the sugar, the water, the absinthe. Now it's a drinkable concoction. Bright green. It's kind of like a not-so-anise-flavored black licorice. But it's green.
I always look at it when I'm in the liquor store, and just like, because you see in like, I don't know, I'm drawing a complete blank on the movie it's right here. Whatever.
Moulin Rouge
yeah.
is the one.
Maybe, yeah, but it's probably because my wife watches that all the time.
Tony's just trying to pretend like he's not a big Moulin Rouge fan. That's all he's trying to do right here.
Well, it's okay because you can.
Oh, you just made my wife stay when she listens to this.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, you should definitely try to get it a little imbibed by the Green Fairy at some point, and just go up that fairy hole. It's definitely fun. It's definitely, as different as gin or whiskey or rum or tequila or any of those kind of head changes, so to speak, become the Green Fairy is its own as well.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's got its own buzz. I take it.
Yeah, we're generally, we ain't afraid of no drink. So,
Brothers.
Wow, sounds like these steampunk conventions get kind of nutty then.
Oh, yes. Now, that's the best-kept secret of the steampunk events, is the convention is really just an excuse to everyone to get together in their favorite costume that's fun to look at and fun to wear, and you have toys and props and noisemakers, and get stinking drunk all day long into the night. Somebody's always throwing a rum party or a room party or several room parties. Sometimes the hotels actually let their jacuzzi stay open all night, and we will literally be 20 people deep in a jacuzzi. Catching up, everyone just standing there because you can't sit down at that point, taking turns, sitting down on the one jet that works. People frolicking back up to their rooms from time to time and coming back down, maybe one of them, maybe both of them, you never know.
These things happen.
These things happen.
We've been wasting our time on comic book conventions, Tony. We're going to the wrong places.
Wow, no shit.
And so to make that relative point, I would say comic book conventions, right, that's all of the comic book world. So imagine just one comic book, right, as if it was a Superman convention or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And everyone there got to really partake. And then you take all the rules away and say there's no rules. So you can make up whatever you want. Everybody's part of the world with whatever they can bring to the table. There's no confinement, so to speak. And now you've got this world of it's the island of misfits toys. Island of misfit toys.
Right.
That is what we are. We really are. There's no two steampunks are alike. There's nothing that brings us together except for our love of Victorian science fiction.
Right.
And that's why the music's so different. Like, we literally had it not be for steampunk, the majority of people in this world, their paths would never cross.
Right.
Right. That's true.
Huh. Interesting.
With the exception of maybe on certain subreddits and whatnot.
Well,
you'll have that.
There's a steampunk subreddit, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think there's a subreddit for anything you could possibly think of.
Probably true.
There is. Unfortunately, I looked up macaroni porn, and there really is macaroni porn.
Wow,
So
I might have to look this up now.
Wow.
Wait for it. It's a little cheesy.
I was just going to say. Yeah. I had that one in the chamber. I was waiting for it. Damn it.
As I was lobbying, I was like, oh, I've already got the follow-up.
Yep.
Here it comes. Spike.
Macaroni porn. Wow.
It might not be a thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, God, you had my hopes up. I'm like, what is this?
Tony's looking either way. Yeah.
I was picturing like dirty macaroni art or something.
Oh.
Here we go. We just created a new drinking game. It's the subreddit challenge. Is it real or is it bullshit?
Oh, man. That's
This
a good
could be-
idea.
Yeah, this could be good times.
Everybody at home, you come up with your favorite subreddit, you come up with what it is, you challenge each other, you have to think of a line that you picked up on the subredded, right, of some type,
Sure.
or an advice tip, and then you see if it's real.
Well, yeah, because you've got to make it seem plausible at least.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you said macaroni porn, my brain is like, that's got to be a thing.
Mine too.
You are
yeah.
a sick man.
Yeah.
Well,
Sick.
I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah. I'm on board with you, Tony. I immediately started thinking of people doing foul things to things filled with macaroni. So I was, yeah.
Well, that's even worse than what I was thinking.
Maybe I'm just hungry. I don't know.
Now, if you play music in the podcast, this would be the time to cue Mr. Bungle, Squeeze Me Macaroni.
We'll just put it in later,
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm going to become familiar with.
Yes, no. If you've heard of Mike Patton at all, Mike Patton's one of my biggest musical influences, the one person I respect more than anyone else out there. And he had a band before Faith No More in the early 90s, Mr. Bungle.
Okay.
And very carnival jazz, very freaky circus funk, and Squeeze Me Macaroni is a pretty ridiculous rap number that he does.
I love Faith No More. Squeeze Me Macaroni.
Right.
Huh.
So if you love Faith No More, I think of Faith No More as a watered-down version of Mr. Bungle.
Really?
Wow.
Interesting. All right.
Really?
See, now we're going to be looking for the r/Mr. Bungle and, find out if that's a subreddit or not. Yeah.
And just subreddit Mike Patton, because that guy's so interesting. He's got such musical ADD. He's got, besides Faith No More, besides Mr. Bungle, Tomahawk. If you haven't heard Tomahawk, that's amazing. Peeping Tom is another act he did. So, yeah, that's just shameless plug to my musical inspiration besides Primus. It's everything Mike Patton has done.
Okay. That was a question I was wanting to ask you was, who your influences are, whatever.
So I'm somewhat, I'm not a true musician in the terms of like I could be a studio musician, but I'm a multi-instrumentalist in the form that I write my music on several different instruments. So bass guitar has been something I played for 25 years or so, and I learned to play by faking to prime songs. I play like slap and pop and a lot of lead bass and a lot of more along the lines of Rush and real busy bass lines. And that's combined with my love of hip hop is really kind of what I feel is what kind of led the Poplock Holmes stuff. I also play guitar and do singing songwriter stuff. I have a band called the Federation. That's a rock act that very much like Americana in the vein of Jack White or the White Stripes or the Black Keys. I like a lot of EDM. I love Bass Nectar. I love Grizz. I love Grammatic. Those three I listen to a lot. Opio a lot right now. There's like old industrial bands I'm into. Ministry, Mindless Self-Indulgence I like a lot. Of course, Red Hot Chili Peppers is someone I listened to a lot as a kid. A lot of funky acts. A lot of the another one I like a lot that I had the good fortune to do a music video for last year was Victims Family out of San Francisco, and they're thrash math rock. I've heard them described as math rock. They're like super technical funk. It sounds like jazz musicians playing aggressive thrash funk music. It's super, yeah.
Huh.
The Victims Family. Absolutely love those guys. They're two of them. The bass player and the guitarist are playing with Jello Biafra in his new band, the Guantanamo School of Medicine, right now.
It's a great name.
Go for it.
No, I said it's a great band name. I was just laughing at the band name. Yeah,
it's a great name.
Yeah.
Now you'd think if the net and all that would be easier to discover new music. At least for me, it's not. I don't know. Maybe I'm just stuck in my rut.
It's hard to get out of your zone to find new stuff. I mean, Pandora has been a godsend when you find a new artist. When somebody can tell me a new artist name that I like, and I can punch it in and hear 10 other artists, that helps a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really hard anymore to find new artists. Like sharing Poplock Holmes, for example. Like, how do you tell someone to check out this new artist and share it? You can't give mixtapes. Like, there's no video on MTV. There's a million things on YouTube, but there's a million things to get distracted by. There's a million kitties you're going to see before you get to my video.
Ooh,
and then while you're watching my video, you're going to get like 17 texts and a Facebook post, and then boom, I lost you already.
Yeah.
So the only way that I'm winning audience members, the only way that I'm gaining fans is by the one-on-one, by them seeing my live show. Once people come and see my live show and they see the energy that I put out and they see how much I turn on and I really go 110% to make the best show possible, I have everything. Like the show this weekend, I had 75-year-old people buying my CDs, 2 in a row. They were my whole time bobbing their heads. They kept bought my CD, and meanwhile there was a 7-year-old little girl singing all the words because she had bought the CD last year.
Nice.
So it's super rewarding to have that, but that's the only place I'm feeling any traction of getting any new fandom is through the one-on-one interaction with them seeing my live show.
Right. That's really interesting. I knew we had a guy from a band called the Swellers on our show, the drummer from them, and they're like.
You mean that shirt you're wearing?
Yeah, it is actually. But they're God, I can't think what they call themselves. They're like a punk band, but they're more melodic. And he was telling me about that, like with that, a lot of bands are having a hard time, aside from getting people to come out to their shows, that it's really hard to get music to people because, like you just said, there's so many distractions. And I'm finding it too. Like, I love music. I rarely listen to anything anymore because there's, podcasts, which clearly everyone should be listening to. But, there's between that and streaming everything online and, there's just so many things that pull at my attention that I can't sit for more than like half an hour and pay attention to anything anymore.
I heard something interesting the other day that people have now mistaken information for knowledge. There was a time when it was important to gather knowledge. It was important to, like, things that you were coming across were actually, they were going to embiggen your brain. And it was actually a good thing to stumble through. And as much as you could interact with it, there was a time in our lives that it was important to learn as much as you could about everything you interacted with. Well, now everything you interact with is a distraction because everything that you could possibly want is available to you. Globalization has occurred. We live in a global environment that anything you want from anywhere around this planet you can get almost instantly.
That's true. Yeah.
So now comes the problem of free will, and for this one, the biggest question of all is what the hell do you want to do with your life? Because you can do anything you want to do with your life.
Yeah.
Anything that you want to do, you can accomplish. You want to be a rap star dressed up in costume, singing about hunting Yeti? You can be that. Proof in the pudding, right here. So now it really comes down to like how much will do you have to do whatever you want, to fight the distraction and to rise through the inspiration and to accomplish the mission you set forth. And too few people are goal oriented anymore, and so it's so easy to be distracted and not discover anything new because there's no goals, there's no journey on to begin with. Like, it's all a distraction.
Right. Yeah.
So then the only thing that's going to grab you and the only thing that really hooks anybody is lifestyle. Lifestyle is the only thing that you will adhere to because you have a lifestyle. And when you find something that's your lifestyle, oh, you drink beer, I drink beer. We should hang out.
Right.
There's not too many things right?
Yeah.
There's not too many things outside of that are these great equalizers. We're all, not only do we have all these social class, dividers going on, we have jobs and alliance differences that separates us, coastal even, miles away. I have collaborators that are 500 miles away and I can instantly be connected with them. So now it's a matter of, okay, what are we accomplishing?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah.
So I personally, as a musician and as an artist and always looking for new inspiration, I set out to find new music. And so there are some resources for EDM and for steampunk that I can go and look for, hey, whatever I might not have heard of. And I can maybe hit up some friends, hey, I'm looking for some new stuff. That doesn't work usually because they'll say like their one great thing they have on their iPod that you can't find because it's a bootleg that they recorded off of. Anyways, so, Pandora ends up being for me, or Spotify or any of these things where like, I want to hear this genre. Yeah. Let me hear this genre of music and see what comes up.
Yeah, that's what I was doing for a while, was I would just jump onto one of those and do it because, like, my issue with like Pandora a lot of times was, you'd go on their website and they'd be like, name a band you like, basically. And it's like, okay, so you type in something you like, and then you get, like, for example, I typed in the other day I wanted to listen to Slipknot, so I type in Slipknot, and the next bands that come up are like Korn, Disturbed,
right.
And I'm like, I've heard of all of these bands. I know all of these bands, And it's like I was kind of hoping maybe something I hadn't heard before would come up. And I went, 15 songs and nothing. Like, I had heard every one of those songs before, ad nauseum because of rock radio at the time and such, which doesn't exist much anymore. But, so I was just like, ugh. So it's the same thing. I end up going and finding, a genre instead. Like, I'll jump in the punk genre and stuff and just try to hear new punk music. And even that is not very often is a new act played. It's generally, classic stuff. So.
And the one resource I have found for new stuff is like the local weekly magazines in your area. Like where I'm at, the LA Weekly, and obviously Los Angeles is going to be a beacon for it anyways, but that's really a great way to kind of skim through and see who's playing live and kind of resonate with, I know like the El Rey is going to be playing the kind of bands that I like, see if any of those names stand out at me, and that might be something just that rudimentary, like, that's a catchy name, let me punch that in and see if I like them or not. The one thing that still helps for EDM and for things that are on vinyl is going to Amoeba Records, if you have a good used record store near you, and sorting through the old vinyl. Like, that's still the best way, is going through someone else's record collection, and finding something else that looks good, it's eye-catching. Like, if the art, the aesthetic, and everything appeals to you, chances are they have the same inspiration you do, and you might like them. That's how I found the band Victims Family years ago. It was like, I fell in love with the CD cover. I opened up, and the special thanks to Primus. I was like, okay, they like Primus. I like their art. I feel these roads are aligned, and they became one of my favorite bands. So, it's like just stumbling through and looking for the thing that appeal to you. It's like, and with the internet, you can't really do that. The internet's going to feed you everything and make all these suggestions to you. So you got to get out of the real world, get these visceral places and interact with people and, drink beer in the bar instead of just in your living room.
Right.
That's what we used to do when we were, teens, was we would go hit the various CDs, music stores around town and just blindly buy music.
Yeah. And so what's the difference between when you were a teen and now? What's different between then and now?
Man, good luck finding a music store around here.
Yeah. I can name some record stores.
Yeah,
I can name about 4 record stores.
I recently started picking up vinyl again, and although my turntable I thought worked, it ended up being a rickety piece of garbage. So I need to get a new one of those. But yeah, I'm trying to get back into the vinyl because I miss going out and touching and looking at the music, not just going, buy it on iTunes, buy it on iTunes.
And luckily, all the new artists are smart, but they're usually given a free digital download code when you buy the vinyl.
Right.
That too, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'll gladly pay $15, $20 for vinyl that's heavy, 180 gram, and maybe has a poster in it. It's got this beautiful cover art. Plus, I get the digital download. I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. But you're right. That's that experience was once those CD stores started closing down, that experience just went away. And even after that, I was still of the I'd still rather go buy the CD type of person, just for the same reason. It's just there's just something about flipping through them and finding, like you said, finding art that catches your attention or something like that. Or I heard of these guys. Hey, this one's only like $4. I'll go ahead and pick it up, and
And Amoeba now is the only place I feel is doing a good job of curating independent artists and new artists, and they've got different opinions on their music, and they do a really good print little magazine that you can pick up. It's like 60 pages or 50 pages that has the different people working in Amoeba and all the new artists that they like. And I don't know if they put that online or not, but whenever I get a chance to go through that, it's like I've never heard of 80% of the artists that are in there, and they're fortunately the couple bands, every now and then the band that I like made it in there, like, okay, my musical tastes are still aligned with the people that are suggesting
right.
musical tastes.
Well, that's what, like Tony and I, we went to, a few months ago, we went to see the Swellers and in Detroit, and, neither of us had heard of any of the other bands on the poster, And we went, and it was a good time. We enjoyed a lot of the music, and a couple of the bands were like, "Man, these guys are really good. How have we never heard of these guys when they're from like an hour from us?"
Right.
Just it's amazing. That was something else about the CD stores and stuff back in the day was when you went in there, they usually had posters all over for local bands and local shows. Yeah, and buying online, you don't get any of that either.
Yeah, the other place right now you can still get a good exposure to new bands you would normally cross around is different festivals. And I haven't got a chance to make it to Coachella, but I still will go through and look at the lineup and see what bands I might not have heard of. And, that's another good way to get people on your radar.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Another band I'm in love with right now, I can't remember how they first got on my radar, is D'Anchwood. Have you guys got into D'Anchwood?
I know of, but I have not.
Oh my goodness. So their music's amazing. They're this rap rave that comes off as very, very gritty street, almost like NWA, but from South Africa. But when you see them live, I had the good fortune of seeing their live show, and it was really that Afrikaan energy that they represent, where they're actually rhyming in Afrikaan as well as English, that it really felt like a Zulu tribe getting ready for battle around the fire, and that you were all up the fire with them. It was they have such a really gritty, greasy image, but they're preaching love just like a lot of these other bands are. So it's really interesting to hear the fight and the aggression aesthetic, right? And such gets you riled up on one side, but on the other side, it's it's do it for the good cause. Overthrow the powers that be.
Right.
The people that want to tell you who to conform to, those are the ones who stand up against kind of a message.
Right. That ended up being, I think over time, that ends up being my favorite rap. That's the rap that I always tended to kind of go back to, or not just rap, but just music in general. The ones that, like you said, it's man, this beat is ridiculous, and, but at the same time, they're also talking about, overcoming horrible adversities or this and that, or, throwing, undoing injustices, that kind of stuff, and you get caught up in the music, and then you're like, wait, hold on a minute, these lyrics are deep, Well,
rap has always been a music for the people and always been of the message. It started out as even, the Black Panthers getting their music out as just spoken word and getting the rallying cry, so to speak. So it's always been a message from the underdog and a message of empowerment. And so I feel especially rap more than any other music, it really compels you. I think everybody, especially of our demographic, everybody has at least one rap song that you could sing along with the entire thing, that it identifies a moment of your life, of your childhood. Yeah. And for some people, it does a lot more for them. Definitely some cultures, there's definitely some communities that the rap albums and the rap movement has empowered and has really put an emphasis on helping to make it better and helping to rectify some wrongs. And that's the one thing I really, really, really like about rap versus any other music is the rallying cry that it is.
Yeah. Because the only other music I can ever put in anywhere near it is some punk music will do that. A lot of the political punk more than anything. There's a good amount of that kind of music out there. And again, that tends to be the punk that I really enjoy listening to. So it must have more to do with me just wanting to listen to music that wants to fight the power than anything, I guess.
and so with my music, with my fight the power message, the message I'm really instilling in people is to fight that voice is in you that's telling you can't do something. Everybody's creative and everyone has ability to turn on and get their voice out and tap in and let the wild beat out, so to speak. And that's the kind of the fight the power message I've got is unlock that cage that you've put yourself in and set forth to the world and give the world a legacy that you have to leave behind. Everybody has a message leaving leave behind. Everyone has a footprint to leave on this shore while we're here. And so everyone needs to know, like, you can make it as colorful as you want to. And I feel that it reaches the young children, it reaches the old people that have maybe forgotten it. And so it's a really good way to, like, you know, get people to stand up and feel empowered by something, but at the same time, it doesn't have any animosity buried into it. It doesn't have any kind of hatred or aggression built in it. It's just, hey, stand up, stop dreaming, make your dreams a reality, kind of a thing.
Right, sure, yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a message that a lot of people forget. Even, you know, hell, I'm 36, and it's a message that every once in a while I'll read. Somebody will post something like that online, and it'll kind of be like, you know, there's just some days everybody needs that message. You know, you just, that, hey, you're not a failure, you're not a, you know, piece of garbage or whatever, that, you know, you really can be stronger or better than what's keeping you down. So
it's easy to forget, and my Poplock Holmes journey is the meta-ness of that. It's like, here it is, I'm doing something that's not real in the sense that it's a character and everything about it's fictional, but everything about it is really inspiring people. And there's definitely a part of the journey, you know, when I was like spending more money than it was making, still spending more money than it was making, but spending way more time than I was able to do in front of people. And like, why am I doing this creative endeavor? Like all artists do with their projects. Like, why am I wasting my time with this one? No one's going to like this one, so another one I should just give up, stop wasting my time on it. It's like, oh no. Like, this feels right. People smile when they hear it. I'm going to stick to my guns, and no matter how hard it is, continue to find inspiration and make new songs, and continue to get on the stage and make people smile when they see my show. And so, yeah, it's hard to wake up every day and do it. It's hard to wake up every day. It's hard. There's sometimes when I go on stage, it's hard to have that comedian aspect of you. You have a shitty day with your bills or whatever, but still, it's like, here it is. We're in imagination land, and we've all got to turn on and play make believe together. Right.
Yeah, sure. It's something I've told various times, you know, as we've talked with newer podcasters and stuff, you know, because it's something you run into, is that, you know, you don't get a lot of downloads and people get discouraged. Oh, why am I bothering? Why am I doing this? And it's like, you've got to, it's like the opposite of learning to swim, because in learning to swim, generally, you get to dip your toe in and you slowly go in, and it's like in a lot of creative endeavors, you're almost just diving right into the deep end and then having to try to kick your way to the surface. You know, and it's kind of that, you know, that mentality that you're almost drowning for a long time. It's just a matter of, can you keep your head above water?
It's the kitten hanging from a tree.
Really?
Hang in there.
And I read a great quote the other day that I try to live by at all those moments. It says, when you cease to struggle, you float. And I find that these creative situations, when you're really fighting something, you're fighting yourself, that if you just kind of give up for a minute and you just let the creativity come out, like that's when the magic really happens. You can't force it, you know, and so it's a fight, but you can't fight yourself at the same time. That's such a duality. And I think all creatives, we all go through this where it's like, I am the dry brush and I am the flame, and one part consumes the other. And it's constantly like the phoenix being reborn constantly, as you're constantly running out of steam and finding new inspiration and restarting. And it's like that rebirth that we all, I think, thrive off of. That newness of creating something is what turns us on, really.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a tough road for a lot of people, and I'm sure plenty of people, they hit that, and, you know, that's the end of it for them. You know, like that's like, this just isn't going to work out, and whether it's outside factors like bills or outside life or whatever, and then you know, you just have to move on. And it's, you know, it's sad that people can give up on what they feel is their dream, you know, just because they felt like they couldn't be more, you know.
No, that's it. Everybody has a dream, and it's just a matter of removing the obstacles that are preventing you from attaining it.
Yeah.
You can sit there and dream about it, or you can start to chip away at it, and it's not going to be one giant step. It's a bunch of little steps that are going to get you there. And just like I said, just head down, keep climbing, and eventually there'll be more than 12 people in your audience.
Boy, at least you hope so, because, man, it would stink if you're doing this for like 10 years and you're still only getting 12 people. I mean, you know, but good on you for sticking with it that long, you know.
Same 12.
Yeah, it's the same one.
Same 12.
Hey, Phil, how's it going?
Yeah, yeah.
And there's definitely something to be said for the therapy of being on stage, the therapeutic aspect of just releasing that much energy and being in the moment of, you know, singing and putting it out without taking anything in. It's almost like breathing out and not taking a breath in for half an hour. It definitely is, just that moment of being on stage, the energy from any kind of live performance is like, it's a good reset. It's a good hard reset that helps, Now,
do you find that, obviously it's going to be better to perform for more people, but is it more therapeutic when you have people giving back, like singing back, or just you can look at their faces and tell they're having a good time or whatever?
Yes, I really play to the audience and the size of the audience. The bigger the audience, the more people I can have one-on-one interaction with, the better. I'll get off the stage and interact with people, and the people want to interact with me there, then I'll try to have a moment as much as I can. So the bigger the audience, the bigger the energy. Absolutely.
Okay. Figured so, but like I said, I know it seemed like a duh question, but it was,
And sound, too, like, especially with hip-hop, like, sound, like, first thing I tell people is put more on the subs, put twice as much on the subwoofers as you will for another band. I want to feel it, because that's part of the essence of hip-hop, is it's not about the melody, it's about this beat. There's a pounding of the rhythm that grabs you, and you start bobbing your head to it. And so when you have that deep bass, and it's the right frequency, and I've mastered all my music with, like, these really low 432 hertz frequencies, that it physically affects you. It's not just bass that you're like, oh, I feel the pressure in my chest, or I hear my ears. Like, it envelops you when I thump on that bass.
I think I'm having a heart attack.
Blood's trickling out of my nose.
It's like seeing, it's like a scene from the crowd on Metalocalypse, when they start playing.
Yeah.
Everyone just starts bleeding out of their eyes. And
Perfect.
If I get someone whose ears to bleed in my audience, I will take that as off my bucket list. I made ears bleed.
Right? Oh, man.
You can probably add it to your credits, too.
Yeah, right? I was thinking...
Poplock Holmes.
Yeah.
Liberative smiles, smile whisper. How would you phrase that? Ear bleeder?
I don't know.
Making ears bleed since the
there you go.
There
you go. Perfect.
That's the way to do it for sure. Yep. Because that's a great back of a T-shirt for sure.
The I Made Ears Bleed tour. It's really a scientific hack. We just find out what frequency causes a hearing aid to erupt, and it will just blow up in someone's ear. I'll claim I didn't have anything to do with it. Oops, my bad.
Of course, yeah.
It's like the fabled brown note.
Yep. I'll tell you, like, if I saw the back of a T-shirt that said, Making Ears Bleed tour, I would assume it's a thrash metal band. And, if I saw, like, Making Ears Bleed since whatever, either way, I would be like, I need to see who the artist is on the front of the shirt. Like, I need to know who this is, because I got to check him out. So, yeah.
Then the front is just like a drill, like holding a bloody drill.
Right. That's what you need to do. You need to, like, take your logo and, like, thrash metal it up. And then just get people to come listen to your music and be like, wait a minute, this is not at all what
all these metalheads show up.
Yeah.
That's like when the Sex Pistols first came to the States and they played in a bunch of cowboy bars. And they literally got in fist fights at cowboy bars. We're going in there doing
it. Who booked this show? Yeah.
Speaking of which, I saw the Dead Milkmen at the Palomino, which the Palomino is a country bar. And if you remember the Dead Milkmen, they did Punk Rock Girl back in the day, and Big Liz in my backyard. So I saw them at a country bar. That was pretty interesting.
Oh, I bet, yeah. That's what, like when Tony made a comment, when he said, you have a bunch of thrash metal heads showing up at your shows, and I'm thinking to myself, that's probably not good for his normal audience. That's probably going to get some people hurt,
Yeah, guys with old Slayer scars in their forearms.
Exactly, yeah.
Danzig, they've got the Kerry King nail cuff.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
Like, oh boy. But in the end of it, they're all singing and dancing, and you're like, whatever, it's all working here.
Because most metalheads are geeks at heart.
Dark Lord.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Kumbaya, Dark Lord.
Perfect.
Yeah. Oh, man.
It's a new hit.
Coming soon to iTunes.
Oh, man. Poplock Holmes performs. The video is just you on stage, and then it just keeps panning to the crowd, and you just see all these, like, thrash heads that are, just singing along and throwing the sign up, and,
I'd rather see them sitting around a campfire.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
That sounds like a terrible idea.
It does. It sounds like something we would do, Tony.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Terrible idea.
I will totally come and crash your guys' metal campfire party.
A very metal campfire party.
Oh, God.
I'll start with like a black cape on so you can't see me, and they'll throw it off and have like some lights, some total like raver Burning Man colors underneath the steampunk garb. It'll be the ultra remixed edition.
Yeah, we're teaching all these guys like anger management and stuff, and it's like, okay, now leave him alone.
Yeah.
And the whole time they're like, oh man,
Roasting marshmallows and stuff.
well, of course. I mean,
I want to see some sort of acoustic flying V too.
I was gonna name drop Flying V when it come out. Like the Slayer reference is like, what else would I come out with anything but a Flying V?
right?
Yeah.
It'd be a Flying V hoverboard. How about that?
Oh,
Yes.
perfect.
Oh, that'd be
Kind of
fantastic.
ride in on it,
Yes.
and of course it'd be pulled by dragons.
Well, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have a steam. When you go to a metal show, you bring your dragon powered ship, not your steam powered
Right,
ship.
yeah. It's got to be dragon or demon powered. I think that's the only way you can do anything there. So, yeah.
And just to bring it back into steampunk, like that's another beautiful thing about it is everything that's made up in fantasy fits in. Dragons and zombies have made their way into it. Every kind of cryptozoological creature has made their way into it. Anything you can imagine from any world can get steampunked if it doesn't fit into the steampunk world naturally.
Right.
I have to ask, have you, at any of your steampunk events you've been at, have you seen a steampunk furry?
Now, some people have called the Baron von Velveteen of the Velveteen band a steampunk furry because he wears the rabbit head.
Right.
So he is doing that. Now, there are also some steampunk. There are three. Yes. The answer is yes, good sir. There are 3 steampunk furries that I've seen. They live, I believe, up in near the Bay Area. Sorry, just typecast. But they actually have the most beautiful furry costumes with like the mouths have mechanisms and the eyes move, and they're like really over the top. And they were at the Kinetic Carnival a couple of years ago, and I saw one of them actually made it down to WonderCon last year. But they are 110% steampunk furry. There are 3 of them that I know of.
Excellent.
Wow.
Excellent.
I'm not surprised, but I had to ask.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, I don't know if those are 3 lone wolves or if they're a unit. I don't know how that works, but they are definitely an attraction. Whenever they walk through a place, they get heads turning at them.
Huh. Now,
I imagine.
I wonder how they're viewed in the furry community.
As outcasts.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
That's the beauty of the as you get into these niche fan communities and the fan culture, is it's the most accepting community of any. Like it's more about how different are you? What are more of your differences? Because that's what makes you cool and unique to us.
Right.
You know, wherever you have the points of conformity, those are dismissed easily. Oh, you work 9 to 5, making $120,000 a year. I don't care. But you handmade that blaster on your side out of a vintage Star Wars gun and some rusty metal parts. Let me see that.
Yeah.
Right.
Right on. Yep.
So the inclusion at these events is immense. Like you can just walk into these. Hi, how are you doing? This is my name. This is the backstory of my character. And now you're friends for life. You'll exchange information. You're friends on Facebook that afternoon. You're unfriended the next day for your behavior.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. That seems
Yeah,
right.
I always thought because there's a Renaissance fair. It's probably an hour from here. We go maybe once a year. Check it out. I always thought it'd be great to get a group of people, and here I'm going to reveal more of my geekness. But take a group of people.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Go as a Star Trek away team, and just scan everybody.
That's pretty genius, my
Right.
friend. I like
agree.
that one.
Yeah. I told
I
you,
think
I'm
that'd be
in.
great.
I just got to get the costume. I'm in.
Yeah.
Now, who's wearing the red shirt?
I'll wear it.
All right.
Take one for the team. Good man.
Always.
Good job, Brian.
Yeah, that's what I do. No, see, what's going to be the joke is I'm going to be the last man alive because I'm just going to kill everyone in the party. So,
Oh,
and then I'll probably trip on a rock, hit my head, and die. But,
this is also true.
Yeah.
Ooh, what a twist!
Yeah. Well, he
It
had
won't be
to
a
die.
rock.
Yeah.
It'll be all the flagons of mead.
Yeah, that's probably. Shh.
You've definitely got a big crossover between the Renaissance Fair community and the steampunks as far as the people who got tired of the rules of the Renaissance Fair, who are there for the fun and the historical spoof and for the entertainment facet of it. They're really gravitating towards the steampunk world and trying to steampunkify their outfits, their world, their characters. There's a group, the Atlantean Foundation, really, really good Irish folk songs. They just add a little steampunk twist here and there, sing a lot of drinking songs. Everything having to do with alcohol fits into the steampunk community perfectly.
Tony, we found our calling. No.
Just need a top hat and some goggles.
Yes.
There you go, because you cannot fly an airship without a top hat with goggles.
Right. That
And a
I mean,
scarf.
that's just science. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Science.
Because science.
Right. Hey, listen, I've never flown without a scarf, so I don't I've also never flown, but
You know,
that has nothing to do with it.
all the pictures of Amelia Earhart, she didn't have a scarf.
See?
I'm just saying.
Yep. Not only was she not stylish, she's also disappeared somewhere.
Now, internet, do not go and show me pictures of her wearing a scarf. I know she had one. I was just being funny.
Yeah. Oh, you know it too, because you're going to get all the the same geeks that we would get if we said something out of context. You have
the same 12 fans I do?
Maybe.
It seems like.
Yeah.
Here's some reference points and
Well,
links.
you know what? On Twitter the other day, I posted a tweet that said, I wonder if Padme ever had Anakin force choke her during sex. And I got so many people like, they were together before he went to the dark side. I'm like, oh my God, I know that. Like, just
it's a joke, you asshole.
Yeah, it's like, just, So, yeah.
Don't you dare mess with their Star Wars, Bryan.
I know. I just picture every one of them as the geeks on, like, comic book guy from The Simpsons or the random geeks that are on there. Like when comic book guy has the woman who does the voice for Mitchie and Scratchy on the show. And just the kids, they sound like this and that kind of stuff. And I just,
right.
So, my people.
Yeah, you're making fun of your tribe.
I am. I know. That's all right.
It.
That's all right.
Yeah.
They know it's with love.
Exactly.
Well, where can everyone find you there, Poplock Holmes? Go ahead.
I was saying, of course, I've got poplockholmes.com. So that's where you can find a little bit of everything. If you go to youtube.com/poplockholmes, then you can see some of my videos there. If you search in iTunes and Amazon and Google Play, just about every place online, you can find Run DM's Steam. That album's only going to be available until June or July, and then I'm going to be replacing it with the Grand Adventures of Poplock Holmes. So there'll be a couple new songs, a couple songs will go away, all new recordings. So this one that's out there is only there for a limited time. I also have a Twitter account that I never use, which maybe I'll try to do something after this thing, twitter.com/poplockholmes. And, of course, facebook.com/poplockholmes is where I probably frequent the most of my social media energy. Of course, you can also find me at Steampunk conventions on the West Coast. This year, Calico is coming up, the Wild West Fest. Kinetic Carnival is one that I'm a out-of-town, hometown hero at for the last few years. Look very much forward to going back to that event. I may or may not be doing a few pop-up performances on the Playa in Black Rock City if anybody makes it out to Burning Man this year. And there'll be a handful of other performances throughout the year. I'm doing the Bombay Grill, I believe it's called, with the Velveteen Band up in Ventura in... I think that one is in May, and we're also playing across the street from Comic-Con in San Diego at an undisclosed location at this point. So poplockholmes.com is the best place to stay abreast. I try to post up any pertinent information on there when things are coming up and throw together a banner. And on Facebook, if you follow me on Facebook, is the best way to get any press releases.
Well, perfect.
Yeah, all right.
I picture you like have one of those big glass globes that the ticker tape would come out of.
Right.
You see in old movies and whatnot.
That would be good. Hudsucker Proxy is the last film I could think of that has that in it. I could think of.
Perfect.
Yeah, it'd be great to get one of those. I've been at events where they had codes coming out of them where like some place they were generating them and at a Steampunk convention, some place they're generating the codes, another place they're coming out of the machine and you just like get your little ticker tape message. It's kind of interesting.
Oh, nice.
If I could get something like that hooked up to my Twitter feed, that'd be great.
Right?
Seems like Twitter's perfect for that. Just 140 characters, a little piece of paper.
Yeah.
Boom.
Somebody, if it doesn't exist, somebody needs to write an Arduino code that will turn your Twitter feed into telegraph messages.
Yeah, it'd be perfect.
That would be a good one.
That
and then that could get retranslated back into text on your computer.
There you go. Nice. Yeah. That's all I got, I guess. We've been talking for about an hour, so that's what we had asked you for. So,
hey, thank you guys so much for having me. It's been a real pleasure to let me expel this much hot air in one place.
Well,
it was a pleasure having you.
We are the home of hot air expulsion.
I kind of feel like we have to get Sir Reginald on next now.
You absolutely do. Then we would legitimize the fact that there are four of us, the only four people in the world doing Chap Hop. This is the birth of a movement. You had all of us on first. This would be ground zero at that point.
I like that.
So I'll connect you guys. I'll let my people, your people talk, and you'll talk to Sir Reginald Pike Devon Esquire here shortly.
Nice. Excellent.
Nice.
All right. Well, yeah, definitely. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for hitting us up and, offering to come on the show. And, it's been a lot of fun, like, talking to the different people in the Chap Hop movement because, like we had said earlier, it's like everybody is so different.
Yeah.
So we don't just have, like, the same blanket, it's not the same blanket talk. It's kind of nice that everyone brings their own edge to this. So we appreciate you bringing, your edge to this.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to share my edge. And then before we go, even though this is a radio show, I'm going to take a selfie of the radio show here. All right, here we go. Big smile, guys. And I'm probably a ghost silhouette, but at least I did it. Yeah. I exist. You exist. We exist. This moment happened. By word, we'll move forward. The future happens now.
Oh, one more thing before you go.
Yes. One more
Can we close off our show with one of your songs?
Absolutely.
And which song would you like us to close it off with?
I'm going to give you one that has not been available at all to the public, at all, whatsoever. So this will be a web premiere of it, and it's a brand new song I just finished writing last Thursday.
Nice.
Wow.
And it's still a work in progress, and it's called Hunt or Be Hunted.
Love the name.
I'll send you guys that shortly. Yes, basically the premise is, hunt or be hunted. You're either the predator or the prey. You either eat or you get ate.
That's fair.
Yep, fair enough,
right?
sir. All right,
yeah,
well, thanks a
I
lot.
agree.
All right, thank you so much for having me. It's been wonderful.
All right, thanks,
Poplock.
Yep.
So that was Poplock Holmes.
Yep.
Our new pal in the Chap Hop community.
Yep.
Master aviator, skilled hunter.
Yes. If you haven't watched the video for, was it Monster Hunter?
Yes.
You should definitely check it out. Again, we'll have links to his YouTubes and all that kind of stuff in the show notes and on the website for you to be able to find all the goodness that he's put out there.
Oh, goodness. Sorry, I'm tired.
Fair enough. So
Lots of podcasting tonight.
Yeah, certainly was. So I guess all that's left to be said is, take it away, Annalise.
Enthusiast this.
Hunt, to be hunted, the predator and prey. Hunt, to be hunted, you eat or you get ate. Hunt, to be hunted, the predator and prey. Hunt, to be hunted, you eat or you get ate. Some tales are full of virtue, some tales are full of fact, but this no tale will tell you might save you from your trap. Oh, say you're monster hunting, what do you do when the monster you're after is in fact after you? Set a trap with yourself as the bait. I know it sounds crazy, but just wait. The trap gets set, you get down like a big serpent. Stay coiled, don't move, it behooves you to stay put. Don't make a sound when he comes around. You get down and bounce out, you chop the ground. Go down and out, and you hope you got him now. No doubt it struggles around and around. He'll probably make a loud sound. Tight that knot now, stand your ground. Down and out for the count. When the count goes down, yeah, we got him now. That's what you do when the monster that you're after is after you. Hunt, to be hunted, the predator and prey. Hunt, to be hunted, you eat or you get ate. Hunt, to be hunted, the predator and prey. Hunt, to be hunted, you eat or you get ate. Ooh, I got him now, what could I do? I could cook him up and make a big Bigfoot stew, or I could cook him up a little bit longer. Slow roast him like I do chupacabra. Add cheese or pasta, Bigfoot lasagna. The bite that bites back if it gets any on ya. Smother it in salsa, Bigfoot enchilada. You got a foot long, Bigfoot's longer. Don't make a sound when it comes around. You get down and pounce out, you chomp the ground. Go down and out, hope you got him now. But no doubt it struggles around and around. It'll probably make a loud sound. Tight that knot down, stand your ground. Down and out for the count when the count goes down. Yes, we got him now. That's what you do when the monster that you're after is after you. around, you get down, pounce out your chops and brown coat down and out, and you hope you got it now, but no doubt it struggles around and around, and it'll probably make a loud sound. Tight that knot now, stand your ground, down and out for the count. When the count goes down, look, we got him now. That's what you do when the monster that you're after is after you. Hard to be hunted.